Hey guys, it's Scott with Scotty B Cards, and in this video I want to talk about the current market conditions and whether or not the hobby is in a good place. So I don't do these type of videos too often where I don't really have like a script of some kind or presentation tool, but I thought now is a good time to discuss the relative panic we're starting to see with sports cards. And it's early, and so I don't want to panic anybody, and that's kind of want to make this video is just to discuss being logical thinking and being long-term minded if you possibly can. But what we're seeing is the overall market is softening. We're seeing the economy soften, we're seeing inflation continue to rise, we're seeing the Fed try to fight inflation by raising interest rates, which is having a big impact on our actual cost at the grocery store. We're seeing the Russia-Ukraine stuff, which is making it harder to get certain types of products. Even the baby formula stuff is getting crazy. And so we're seeing a lot of negativity when it comes to the greater market as a whole. And then we have sports cards over to the side, which is going to be, its own little investment class. It's alternative investment, maybe alternative speculation, if you don't view it as a traditional investment or investment quality due to them not being connected to anything tangible besides player performance. But the point remains, we're seeing things soften. And we saw this peak in 2020. And honestly, we saw another peak in 2021 when the season for baseball started. A lot of players spiked and then a lot of players tanked. We saw these things happen. And we all should have known that it was not sustainable. It's nothing that can maintain a growth of 40%, 20% every year. Our goal, if we're looking at cards as an investment, should be, a 7 to 8% return annually. If you're doing that, you're beating a lot of different types of stock markets. And if you're able to do that, then your cards, as you're flipping and selling and buying, will be able to become larger and more valuable over time. Whether you're collecting wax, whether you're collecting singles, those types of things need to be long-term focused if you're going to be concerned about market conditions like this one. If you're trying to prospect, if you're trying to do the things really early on, these types of market conditions are a lot scarier if you're short-term minded, which is some people. And if that's your favorite part of the hobby, then kudos to you. It's just more risky because, if things soften too much right now and you need a specific projectable arc for a minor leaguer to get to the big leagues in order to cash out on those cards and make a good profit, is a little bit riskier. So I just wanted to kind of discuss where I think the market is going to be headed, and on top of that, what we should do. So the very first thing, where's the market headed? I don't think we are at the bottom yet. I think we're going to drop more. I don't know how much. If I knew how much, I would be really wealthy because I don't know a ton of variables that are just impossible to know. But I do think right now we've come down and we're softening. I was shocked at some of the prices on some auctions last night that ended and seeing that they were not very high in comparison to where I would have paid a month ago. And I'm seeing these decreases on especially higher end cards. Lower end's not having a huge impact. And I'm saying lower end, I mean anything under like a couple $1,000s. The stuff over a couple $1,000s is really getting hit. The stuff under a couple $1,000s, it's more of a option for more people. And if you get even lower to the $10 to $100 cards, it's the same situation. They're dropping, but it's not the same feel as the higher tier cards. These higher tier cards, let's say the Mike Trout Bowman Chromatograph. He's having an MVP caliber year. I think he's number 1 and number 2 in the league in WAR. And on top of that, he has like a 220 OPS plus. He has an 1150 OPS in general. He's looking really good and really healthy, having one of the best defensive years of his career so far. And everything looks good for Trout. Maybe people are nervous because of injury history, and that's why his cards are softening, but it doesn't make sense. If we were in a logical market, which we never are, then his cards would be going up right now. They'd be appreciating because in the offseason his cards went up, but now that he's playing well, they're going down. That just kind of shows you where the market is as a whole. We're at a point now where people are a little bit more nervous about buying cards for good reason. We have to pay gas, at $5 a gallon. We have our mortgage, where we might be concerned about inflation, and that's taking some of our buying power away, so we're not able to buy as much as we used to. All these different external factors are hitting the card market, and that is something that we should see coming. And that's going to continue to happen. Who knows? If we keep having interest rates go up, maybe the entire economy slows down to the point where people start getting laid off. And if that happens, we'll see it soften even more. So that's where I see it going. I don't think it's going to tank. I don't think it's going to bottom out. I don't think we're going to get before 2020 prices ever again, but I do think we approach those prices compared to where 2020 prices were. So here's the ceiling where 2020 prices were. Here's where they were in 2017. I don't think we're going to be down here or at the top. We're going to be right in the middle. And I think we're going to cruise there, going up and down like a traditional market should, but I do think we're not at the bottom yet. So I want to say, if you are a sports card investor or collector, don't panic. If you're looking for the long term, I bet you'll be just fine. As long as you've cultivated your collection with sealed wax, or you've cultivated your collection with players that are potential future Hall of Famers or vintage cards, all these different types of things, I think you'll be just fine. If you're into prospects and you want to get out of it, I understand. I'm not recommending doing that because you can take on a specific type of risk and understand what that risk is. But the point remains, we are going to see it drop a little bit, but I'm not panicking yet. I'm not selling my cards. I'm not liquidating my cards. I could have liquidated my cards for probably 10 to 15% more 3 months ago, but they've dropped. And even though the players in my collection, Mookie Betts is playing pretty well. He has 1.5 WAR. Trout's playing extremely well. Even Paul Goldschmidt's playing well. Max Scherzer and Zach Greinke are both pitching well, but everybody in my PC has dropped in value, and that doesn't concern me yet. And it's not going to concern me because I'm looking to hold these for such a long period of time. If you're concerned, it might be some time to sell half, maybe keep half, have an eye towards the future, but I'm not panicking. I just want to see how it plays out. We might enter into a recession, and if we do, I don't think it's going to be a great recession like 2008. It might just be traditional recession because we've had a bull run since 2010 that's so insane and hard to maintain that we're going to have some sort of drop eventually. Interest rates are there to stop inflation, but interest rates raising also just stops the buying power of the average dollar and the average American anyways, and it affects the overall market conditions. But my point is, once we stop raising rates, once things slow down, we're going to go relatively back to normal. The fear is we do completely tank the economy, and if that's the case, then every single investment that you have isn't going to maintain. But with sports cards, they're a very interesting segment. More people are back into sports cards, and yes, we'll see some people exit if it slows down, just because that's the way that things work. When markets slow down, people step out. It's too risky for them. It's something that they viewed as a money center, but now it's not a money center anymore, so what's the point? But there's going to be a lot of collectors, you and I included, who are still buying cards. We still like cards. We still want to get the rare cards of our favorite players. And I think over time, as long as you're looking towards the future and buying smart, that's going to help your collection. And so for that reason, I'm not too worried. Let's now talk about investing versus speculation versus collecting. I don't mean to make sports cards sound just like only an investment. I collect. I guess it's investing because I'm collecting for the long term because I know they're going to appreciate, but in the sense, I'm collecting what I like. I'm collecting the rookie cards that I enjoy. And I'm more of a collector. I finish sets still. I might go after really hard sets to finish because I know they're going to be valuable, but it's also fun for me to do. And so if you're strictly looking at it as an investment, I would recommend having a portion of it just being as a collection. Because if your collection goes down, who cares? It's your collection. But if 100% of all your sports cards are going to be looked at as you need them to perform or else you're going to not be able to put food on the table, that's a little concerning. And now let's talk about investment versus speculation. Sports cards are interesting, especially singles. If you open product, if you open wax, it's basically just gambling. It's not an investment if you're opening wax. It's just for fun. It's a lottery ticket. And at this point, boxes seem like they're slowing down in sales volume and in sales price, which is good because that's getting more to a traditional equilibrium of supply and demand. But if we're looking at buying singles or wax for the long term as a speculation, you're speculating it's going to go up. It doesn't have dividends. It doesn't have stock buybacks. It doesn't have anything to be traditional investment necessarily, and it's speculation on the future of certain players, then I just recommend knowing it's probably more speculation than investing. I think me, maybe, and others have made it seem like sports cards are a true investment, and maybe they are. You can look at it that way, but the whole premise of sports card collecting is collecting. And so in order for them to go up, we need to be collectors. They have to have value long term because people need to want them, not just for an investment, but because they enjoy the photo of the player on the card, or they enjoy the scarcity and rarity of that card and that specific player. It's not like it's a stock that is able to have intrinsic value connected to the performance of a company. People don't collect stocks. It's a very different type of market. And so maybe we should separate those two a little bit in the current moment because they aren't really going to be the same. I personally believe the market's going to go a little bit lower. I personally believe that the markets are going to come back. I just don't know if that's going to be in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. And I'm personally not too concerned about my own collection. I'm not going to be liquidating it. I'm going to maintain what I have, and I'll probably continue to sell and buy because that's the fun of the hobby. I just want to emphasize that if things get bad, if things are looking bleak, turn to cards as something that is fun. Don't let the cards also pile onto your stress of your 401k not performing well and you're approaching retirement. I would recommend just have fun with cards. Cards have been around forever. We've been looking at cards as fun pieces of collectibles since the 1800s with Old Judge tobacco cards. And you had the T206 cards. And then you had the 1933 Gaudi cards. And then we had Bowman and Topps and so forth. They've always been collectible pieces. Yes, because the traditional supply and demand and they're scarce. It might be artificial scarcity, but they're still scarce. They maintain value. And any type of item that maintains value is going to have ups and downs. So if we have a down, my advice is not to panic. Stay the course, look to the long term, and don't get too freaked out. I also want to discuss just another topic. Make sure you aren't giving the wrong people attention. And I'm not even talking about like YouTubers or anybody. There's just been a lot of negativity in the hobby, and you can avoid that negativity. And if you're on Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, or if you're on any type of social media platform and you're seeing these people scamming others in breaks, stealing redemptions, and whatever else people are accusing others of doing, or, you know, Josh Sluber now is working with Backyard Breaks and people are upset, you can unplug from social media. You can take a step back with the hobby, so that way you're not connected into social media. Social media has the ability to really make things seem better or worse than they are. That's news. That's like news cycles. But the algorithm is designed to maintain your attention, and they do that with shock content. They do that with stuff that's exciting, quick news cycles, quick things that really make things seem worse or better than they really are. And we saw that with probably some of the 2020 hype. It seemed better than it was because of social media. And then now in 2022, it feels worse because of social media. I'm just saying, don't give the wrong characters attention. Take what even I have to say with a grain of salt. I can't predict the future. These are all my opinions. But the point remains, don't give things that aren't worth giving time to time. Enjoy cards, enjoy the hobby, enjoy collecting, because that's what it's all about. For me, I enjoy Mookie Betts and Mike Trout. People sometimes just bash me for Mookie Betts for no reason in the comments because I collect them, but I don't care. I like Mookie Betts, and that's who I enjoy collecting. If I was looking at it as a pure investment, I'd put all my money into vintage and wax, maybe Mike Trout cards, just because that's probably going to appreciate better than Mookie Betts. But again, I'm looking at Mookie Betts as someone who's going to increase 5% annually for the next however many years, and on top of that, I enjoy his cards. So don't panic. I'm assuming everything, just like regular market movements, will be fine. If it's not, enjoy the hobby, because that's what it's all about, is collecting. And investing in sports cards is fun. Speculation in sports cards is fun, but it's not everything. So if you need to diversify to actually have a collecting section where you're completing sets or collecting 1990s inserts of players you just like that are only worth a couple cents, do so. But I'd recommend, if it's too hot for you right now, take a step back. Don't liquidate yet. You know, if you want to, need the money, of course, do that, but I wouldn't panic. We're not at a panic point, and I don't think we will be for a while. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the current market. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if you're concerned, if you're positive, and what your thoughts are on the market. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.